All right, folks, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're calling in from literally around the world. Welcome aboard our 2017 debrief and a 2018 brief, not only for our current members, but for folks who are potentially joining us from some of our strategic partners. So welcome aboard, everybody. It's going to be a great session. How many of you are new to Top Gun Options here? Give me just write kind of an N or something like that, or new or first time or something like that. Hey, Tamara, Ted, I appreciate that. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas as well. Looking forward to my birthday here in a couple days and just a phenomenal New Year. There's Graham, 5 in the morning down in Australia. Welcome aboard, Graham. Graham is one of our, he gets our longest. Graham, you got to come to one of our live events, man. You'll obviously get the farthest traveled award. Great. All right, so we have a lot of new folks. This is going to be good. We're going to cover how our 2017 went, where we're going to be targeting in 2018, and we just have a lot of good stuff going on. We have a lot of great trades. We have a great one-day trade working on Tesla this time last week in our accelerated retirement brief. We put on a bull put spread on Brazil. That thing's crushing it right now. We'll take a look at the EWZ. So should have a lot of members who had just an incredible Christmas and an incredible 2017. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. Tamara says it's -7 below here. Oh my God, Tamara, it's a little chilly and rainy down here in Fort Lauderdale. There's the port of Fort Lauderdale and the beach behind me. So you got to move down here. Marvin's from Long Island. I'm a Jersey boy, so I can certainly appreciate that. All right, guys, really looking forward to a good session. We had nearly 1,000 people register for this webinar the last time I looked, which is great. This is our normal accelerated retirement brief every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, but I wanted to open this up and kind of turn it into a 2018 forward look ahead and welcome some potential new members. We really don't open up that many slots. We kind of do it on a rolling basis, maybe a couple times a year. We open up maybe a chunk of slots, but we like to keep Top Gun Options a nice, tight trading squadron. It ain't about the money for me, folks. I'm very passionate about what I do. And who am I? Since you're all sitting here going, for the folks that are saying, who the hell are you? And this is my first webinar. Folks, my name is Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Wiz. I'm pretty sure my parents liked me. They didn't give me that name. I earned that call sign flying the FA-18 Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years. I graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know as Top Gun, and I also flew 44 combat sorties over southern Iraq. Got to do a lot of cool stuff during my time in the Navy. Got to fly in the backseat of a jet of a stolen. It was a MiG. The Chinese stole it. They built their own. That's called an F-7. So. Scariest flight of my life. Got to fly with the Blue Angels. My best friend, Scott Cartvet, intake was on the team. And like I said, there's Kuwait. Right underneath me is Kuwait. If you want to know how big Kuwait is, that's it right there. Right to the left, this is Iraq right here. And then Iran is right over there, folks. It really is like a lake. So there's the Northern Arabian Gulf right there. And that's what it looks like. Awesome. Fish are going to be moving down here April and May. That's great, man. Going to have a lot of South Florida members. That's awesome. How's everybody doing today? Well, if you're a TGO member, let me go back here. I sent out an urgent alert, a Tesla bear call spread that's up about $800 the last time I looked. Let me get a hell yeah if you're a member and you got that urgent alert yesterday, folks. I sent out emails. Like I sent out the trade yesterday via text, so everybody got a text, and also I posted a video on this trade as well. This trade is on limited risk too. We're gonna talk about Tesla here in a little bit, but look at that, on limited risk. Here, let me get rid of looking at my ugly mug. I don't need to see that. Nobody needs to see that. Good. Brian, Giles, Brent. Awesome. Nice one-day trade. We're going to pound Tesla into the dirt here. We're risking $5,200 to potentially make $2,300 in about 2.5 weeks, and we're already up about 35% right now, man. So this probability has gone up to about 75%. So now there's a 75% probability of us collecting $2,300 in 2.5 weeks. So if you're new to TGO or you don't even know, Dennis is up $963 today. Albert's saying we're up $990 now. That's awesome. Hold on real quick. Let me do something real quick. Here's what I want to do is, because I know, one second. Because I know, right now, folks, we don't have, let me take a screenshot this because I know a lot of you can't see each other's chat. So there's the chat right there, guys. Because remember, men lie, numbers don't. So there's Fish, there's Albert, Dennis. Here's all my current members. So if you are new folks, this is what I'm seeing in the chat box. So great one-day trade on Tesla. We don't need to do that. So that's obviously looking really good, and we're gonna hold. Tamara, we'll talk about that. Kevin, Kevin, I sent out an email as well if you're having SMS issues. Steve's up $750. Good. So folks, good looking trade. Now, some of you are asking, how the hell did I get into finance? Wiz, how'd you go from the cockpit to the, to the trading pit, essentially? Well, I was always interested in finance, folks. I was kind of a lower middle class, one of 6 Irish Catholic kids in New Jersey. My dad used to read the paper every day before he went to work, and I was looking at the back of the paper and eating my Cheerios and noticed all the stock symbols. And, my dad would explain it like, hey, well, son, if, you buy a Happy Meal today and you own stock in McDonald's, the price could go up and you could make money. Short story long, when I was flying fighter aircraft as a young officer out in California, as a young naval aviator, I applied everything I was learning flying a fighter aircraft to my trading. Because when you think about it, folks, trading is a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody ain't. So why wouldn't you use the same methodologies that I used over the skies of Iraq in your trading, right? Having a strategy, being disciplined, contingency planning, knowing when to get out of a bad situation before it gets worse, or even a good situation before it gets worse, for that matter. And I applied it to my trading with incredibly good results, so to speak. But I got here as a result of the tragedy. Why did I start Top Gun Options? Well, on September 11th, the morning of September 11th, I was scheduled for my first flight as a pilot for American Airlines. I was living in Dallas, Fort Worth, because I was lucky enough when I got off active duty to get picked up by an F-18 Naval Reserve Squadron out of Naval Air Station Fort Worth. So flying for American, supposedly, and then my first day, September 11th. Packing for my first trip. My wife at the time said, hey, you better come out and take a look at the TV. Somebody hit the World Trade Center. And I said, well, that kind of doesn't make sense. It is, I knew we were under attack. As soon as I saw the second plane hit, I rushed out to Naval Air Station. We briefed with the F-16s that were next door, the Texas Air National Guard, the 457th Fighter Squadron. And we went up, I went from potentially flying in an airliner that day to shooting one down, to maybe even shooting down a squadron mate, since most of my buddies in my reserve squadron flew for American Airlines. A couple days later, I even launched on an alert and intercepted an airplane that was flying near prohibited airspace down there in Crawford, where there was essentially an airborne White House. So in the blink of an eye, I got a photocopied letter a couple days later from American Airlines HR that said, dear crew member, you no longer have a job. Well, that kind of sucks, man. I had dreamed of being that rich airline pilot, working one day a month and flying exotic locations and getting in a conga line with flight attendants. Well, that disappeared in the blink of an eye. So I threw myself full time into my trading, and what was essentially a hobby and making some nice money on the side turned into, hey man, this is this is actually pretty damn cool. It is. So here's what I did. It was time to get serious. Time to stop feeling sorry for myself. So I started doing a bunch of business consulting. Same thing. I applied what I learned flying fighters to the business world. I started helping companies, teaching them how to come up with a strategy, teaching them how to debrief, how to get in a room after something is over with, a product launch or a business initiative. And I taught them how to debrief, right? Because as a fighter pilot, after every mission, training, or combat, we got in a room, closed the door, took the name tags off our chest or the rank off our shoulder, and we held what was called a nameless and rankless debrief, right? Figure out how we'd improve our execution. I even wrote a book, From Sea Level to Sea Level. What's this have to do with trading, Wiz? Everything. Take a look at the screen real quick. And this isn't even probably a third of the companies I've spoken to or worked with doing workshops. Look at this. We're going to talk about MasterCard in a little bit. Macquarie flew over to Hong Kong and China and worked with Macquarie. Graham, you've heard of Macquarie. They're kind of the Goldman Sachs of Australia and Asia. McKesson Healthcare, Gilead, Biotech, Fidelity, Capital One, Bank of America, obviously financials, NOV, oil, Cargill, ag. This is incredible, right? So obviously, as a fiduciary with these companies, folks, I can't tell you what's going on. I don't trade in these names. I'm prohibited from trading in these names, but it gives me what we call SA, situational awareness. So my trading, the folks that are here and members of Top Gun Options have access to a trader with incredible experience from the cockpit, also to the front lines in the business world. A couple of weeks ago, I was in Houston. Actually, one of my members gave me a call. It's a death care industry, the number one death care provider, from crematoriums to caskets to burial services. So, folks, I can go from speaking to Cargill and agriculture one week to a cemetery company, and it's awesome. But here's what's really cool, folks, is my trading. After I got furloughed from American Airlines, my returns were so good, and my business consulting popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms in the United States. Everybody see these beautiful windows right there? That's the Chicago Board of Trade, and that's called Peak Six Investments. So I essentially went up to Peak Six Investments, and I'll laugh because, well, I'll tell you in a second, but I helped build the hedge fund there. I helped build the retail brokerage called Options House. And yes, I did feel like Valentine in Trading Places. I think I've seen Trading Places about 10 times in the past week because it is set around Christmas in Philadelphia. So I felt like Valentine, but had a blast. I was the managing director of strategy for Peak Six. And then I was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network, kind of the CNBC for options. I know John and Pete Najarian, and they do a pretty damn good job, at CNBC, but CNBC pays lip service to options, folks. For about 3 years that the Options News Network was airborne, I gave retail folks like yourself a behind-the-scenes look at what is going on in the options market, who's acquiring, what big block trades, all that stuff. And then at the end of the day, to be honest with you, this is a little dated picture, but I love this picture. My son's he's a senior in high school, getting ready to go to Norwich University in Vermont to the Corps Cadets. There's my middle boy, Jack, and then the apple of my eye, Keely Grace. No offense to anybody from Chicago, but you can keep your winners, man. I moved down here. I'm talking to you from the beautiful Icon on Las Olas in Fort Lauderdale from the 29th floor, and this is where all the magic happens down here in South Florida. Okay, so that's a little bit about me, guys. I'm ahead of schedule, which is great because I hate talking about me. But you can't, if you're new, potential new member here, you can't just sign up and where's the trades, and you got to know who the hell the pilot in command is of your aircraft, right? Or the skipper of your ship. You can't just show up and, hey, where are all your trades, Wiz? We're going to get to that. Top Gun Options, in about a week, I'm going to change this right here to 8 years of service. We've been around for 7 years, guys, which in the financial training space is a lifetime. There's a lot of snake oil out there. There's a lot of coming and going. There's Christ. I didn't even think I promised myself I'd do a shot every time I said the word Bitcoin, or if I did. So, this stuff popping up like weeds, guys. But check this out. Man, I am getting old, JP. Exactly. Dan, I've heard your story several times, and it's impressive every time. Thank you, Dan. We train. We don't educate. The world's full of educated derelicts. My sister, who passed away, she was a freshman at Villanova University, got killed by a drunk driver. Kind of an average student, but she loved helping adults with disabilities. She volunteered a lot of time. When we got her purse back from the hospital, there was a quote from Calvin Coolidge that she carried around in her purse, in her pocketbook, that we never knew. It was the Calvin Coolidge quote, folks, and part of it said, "The world's full of educated derelicts." I don't educate. I'm not going to educate you about options. I'm going to train you. Fighter pilots are trained, doctors are trained, attorneys are trained, right? Plumbers. I love people who are like, "I'll fix my pipes." Plumbing's easy. Plumbers do it. And then they end up calling a plumber, and they're a couple grand in the hole because they destroyed everything. So we're gonna train you, all experience levels. We have folks. I don't know, Valerie, if you made it on here. A good friend of mine, Valerie, does real estate down here in Boca. We had Starbucks last week, and she's going to get into options. So if you can't even spell the word options, all the way up to, hey man, I'm trading reverse straddle, covered call, iron condor, twist with a leap. I made that up. If you're doing that, we're going to make you better. And we use that military demo do concept. All right. I'm going to demonstrate something. Then you guys go do. 2016, folks. 2016 was my best year in history until 2017 made 2016 look embarrassing. 2017, these are actually old. These are we're almost double of what these are. These are old slides. I haven't updated these, but every portfolio except the primary live trade brief has a triple-digit return. You heard me. Even our retirement portfolio is beating my primary live trade brief by 102%. The primary live trade brief is 85% or something like that. Again, these are old slides, folks. Triple-digit returns, and I'm going to explain why we did. Why 2017 was our biggest year ever in a couple minutes. But I got the attorney in me, the fighter pilot in me, the dude in me has to brief this slide. There are losing trades, guys. It always cracks me up. We've had, and my members on here can attest, we've had an epic fall and going into the winter here. I think I can count on one hand the number of losing trades out of maybe 30 or 35 of them. We've crushed it. But there were some losing trades. I got blown out of a Tesla trade, and I think maybe 1 or 2 weekly options SPX trades. But you have to know those things happen, man. There's a Rumsfeld, right? The unknown unknowns that are out there. We had an Apple trade on, what was it, like 6 months ago, a weekly trade that we placed the weekly trade, and literally I think after I placed it, what's his name? Tim Cook comes out and says, hey, we're having some Wi-Fi issues with one of these new phones, whatever it was. I didn't know that was going to happen. There's an unknown, that Donald Rumsfeldism that there, you can do all the planning in the world, folks, and still when I get over Syria, okay, there's a mobile launcher that just nobody, it's mobile, right? The CIA, our agencies didn't see it. We have to deal with it at that time. So know that losing trades happen, guys, because it always cracks me up to people that they get to TGO. I have a great streak going. I have one losing trade, and then people go ape shit. I'm like, that's not. And let me ask you, and this is for potential new members only. None of my members are allowed to answer, and I know who you guys are. There you go, Harry. To all my potential new members here, what's your winning percentage? What do you want your win rate to be? Give me a percentage. How much do you want to win? How many winning trades do you want to have? What's your win percentage? Let me read some of these. Right out of the gate, Steve says 100%. Steve, that's physically impossible. You cannot win on every trade. I'm seeing some more realistic answers, guys. The average professional trader, you ready for this, wants to win 60% of the time. No, 45%, you're losing money. Fred, you're exactly right. At Top Gun Options, I shoot for a minimum of 70, which is way above average. And right now we're at 73%. So exactly, Brent. I don't care. I just want my balance to go up. So for all my potential new members, folks, it's physically impossible to have 100, and you don't want 51% because it's going to take you too much, about 60% of the time. So remember that, okay? Remember that. Okay, now let's start getting into our methodology, and then we're going to get into our brief and our trades. Here's our methodology, folks. It ain't rocket surgery. I owe all this to the Navy. Remember, the military preceded business, right? Military actions. Some caveman liked the other caveman's cave, picked up a rock and hit him in the head with it. It was the military first, folks. And then people decided, well, why don't we shine these rocks and maybe we can trade them for caves instead of beating each other over the head. So this methodology has been JP, beginning of 2017, you blew the doors off around 85%. You got it, JP. Strategic, operational, tactical. Many of you who are potentially new to TGO are very, very tactical. You woke up today and you're watching Power Lunch with John and Pete, and they're talking about unusual options activity in this name. I don't even know what this name does. I'm going to follow them, and then in a week you're broke. That's very, very tactical. We don't do that here at TGO. What I'm going to do today, folks, I'm going to give you a strategic brief about what's going on in the world. We got to talk about China and North Korea, folks. What's going on in Syria? An airplane I flew yesterday got shot down over Syria. What's going on with Iran and Saudi Arabia? In the blink of an eye, breaking news on Fox, and the market's down, 1,000 points on potential on war breaking out with Saudi Arabia and Iran. You have to know these things. 3 years ago, we made 35 grand in a month trading weekly options around Greece. Now, most of you woke up or saw that whole thing and go, why is Greece why is my 401k now a 201k? Back to a 601k, down to a 401k? Because of the Greece issue, right? So you have to know what's going on around the globe. At Top Gun Options, in each one of my 4 live trade briefs throughout the week, I treat you like an admiral or a general. Sit there with your cigar and you're going to get a brief. After we cover what's going on around the world, now let's peel back the onion one layer deep and go operational. What's going on with the Fed, interest rates? How are retail? How's retail looking for Christmas? Earnings, Q4 earnings, what are they looking like? Consumer confidence report came out today. We'll get operational and take a look at what's going on here in the U.S. And then, and only then, can we get tactical and do what? Trade. And if you learn nothing from me today, but this, I failed miserably, but you're going to learn this. There's no such thing as an option strategy. If you're sitting here going, dude, you had me up until now, the Iron Condor is my favorite strategy. You're wrong in your terminology. That is called a tactic. Folks, a strategy is high level. A strategy is win the war against ISIS. A strategy, a financial strategy is saving for college. I'm doing short-term income generation, managing risk, buying a boat down here in Fort Lauderdale in 6 months. Those are strategies. A tactic, an Iron Condor, a bear call spread on Tesla, a bull put spread on Brazil that we did last week. Those are tactics, and we're going to talk about those. Okay, so here's how we trade. We have a lot of long call diagonals and synthetic stock, and I'm going to show you my 6 sectors that we're trading in 2018 using these long-term investments. We can trade options all the way out to January of 2020, folks, 2 years out. Wait till you see some of these positions, man. Then we get operational and trade the front months. We put a bear call spread on yesterday on Tesla, a bull put spread last week on Brazil. And so we trade the front months. And then tactically, every Monday at 1 o'clock, we usually trade weekly options. Very, very tactical trading. They're not for the faint of heart. Weekly options can print money like Bitcoin and lose money like Bitcoin in the blink of an eye. So weekly options are very, very tactical. Whoops, and we'll cover our weekly options portfolio as well. That's exactly right, man. If you call something a strategy that's a tactic, you owe me 100 push-ups. I appreciate that, Harry. So, folks, at the end of the day, trading is a form of combat. Like I said, you don't want to be this dude. You want to be the one that shot him down, and that's what we're going to do here at TGO. Let me introduce this acronym to you. This is held up for the past 2 years, and I've added a couple letters to it, but essentially it's not fear 2018. I don't fear 2018. I think 2018 is going to blow the doors off of 2017. And I hear people now, all the people who, first of all, got the Trump thing and the Trump rally wrong are now saying, holy crap, 2018 is going to suck. They couldn't be more wrong, folks. So let's get airborne. The N in not fear. So yeah, you can write that down, ma'am. I'm sorry. And remember, I didn't brief you, but at the top of the window you're viewing the slides in, there's a little camera. And if you click on that camera, it'll take a screenshot of what's on my screen, and you can save it to you. I think it goes to your desktop, okay, or my document. So yeah, there it is, not fear. The N in not fear is North Korea. In a couple minutes, I'm going to brief you on what the hell's going on in North Korea, folks. You should be, if you're not freaked out about North Korea, you're not listening to educated people. One of the benefits you're going to get here at Top Gun Options is I got a lot of buddies up north. I got a lot of buddies in the east, the south, meaning in a big building with 5 sides on it, you can do the math. The adults are worried. Okay, when my buddies who are at very high rank in the Pentagon are worried that their superiors are worried, this is the sleeper story, folks. This is bad, and it's not going to get any better. I'm hearing that, okay, North Korea in 2018 wants to come to the table and be recognized as nuclear power. Well, we got the President of the United States and Secretary of Defense Mattis saying we will not allow a nuclear-armed North Korea. And they've said it repeatedly. I mean, Christ almighty, Trump 6 months ago said what? I will rain fire and fury down upon this country. Essentially, I'm going to vaporize 15 million people. How do you walk back to the middle and say, okay, they're allowed to be nuclear armed? And I'm going to share with you a news story in a couple minutes that's going to freak you the hell out. Don't worry about the nuclear weapons, folks. You got to worry about anthrax and Ebola and a bunch of other stuff that these guys are planning to unleash on us. And North Korea. The O in not fear 2018 is oil. Let me get a hell yeah from my members. How was December for my members on you ready for this, guys? Over $10,000 in December alone on ExxonMobil, folks. We'll get into ExxonMobil. We have been absolutely crushing it. We have a Jan 20 position on, and then we've been trading the front months. We've done 2 bull put spreads and a bear call spread, and they've all expired for max profit. Legging into an iron condor, I believe, on one of them, over $10,000. Yeah, and Brian, MGM too is a good trade, but yeah, we're talking energy here, but yeah, MGM. We'll talk about our sin stocks, right? So, folks, you have to have an energy trade on, and I'll tell you what. I've been briefing my members, and maybe you've seen on the media that rebels in Yemen, which are essentially Iranians, they've launched 2 ballistic missiles into Saudi Arabia, targeting the international airport. I lived in Riyadh, folks. I was stationed there. I've been to the airport that was targeted, and a palace. The young crown prince, which is doing a cleansing of the elite in Saudi Arabia, has said these are acts of war. If Iran and Saudi Arabia go at it in the Arabian Gulf, oil's at $300 in the blink of an eye, guys. You have got to be paying attention to what's going on in energy. So we'll talk about energy in a couple minutes. Now, this is the T in not fear. Isn't this awesome? Yeah, Tamara, good point. The Top Gun options portfolios are based on $100,000 model portfolios, and I'm going to show you that we have what we call an SOP, standard operating procedures. You need to have an SOP. You're trading SOP. Wiz, I'm going to take profits at 70, 80, 90%. If I'm seeing a 7, 8, or 9 on any trade that I'm in, I'm going to close it. If I'm only going to risk, one of my SOPs is I don't want to risk more than 5% of the model portfolio on any one trade. That's $5,000. So we've seen over $10,000 in profits. Actually, I think it's closer to 15. I think that's wrong, to be honest with you. Randy lived in the kingdom for 26 years. Randy, you know how serious this is, guys. But we got to press. One of the T's in not fear is this. Ladies and gentlemen, I rarely take a victory lap, but I'm going to on this one because this was epic. I was one of the only financial professionals, Jeffrey Gunlock at Double Line Capital. He manages a $95 billion fund. So, Jeffrey and I go way back. And then about 3 or 4 other fund managers got this right. Last fall, I predicted, and last summer, folks, I predicted not only was Trump going to win, that not only was the media lying to you, but Goldman Sachs, Citi, Morgan Stanley, they were all getting it wrong. I said, not only does he win, I said the market is going to rally 15, 20%. Nailed it. Citi, 2 days before the election, said Hillary wins by double digits, and if by some freak of Satan Trump wins, the market's going to implode 15 to 20%. We're going to see an immediate bear market. Those were written by people making a hell of a lot more money than me. How did I know this was going to happen, folks? Because I was out speaking. I was on the speaking circuit. I was out talking to mom and pop. I was talking to you guys. First of all, if my phone ever rings and it's a pollster, I hang up immediately. What type of person stays on the phone with a pollster? It ain't somebody who's educated or has a job. Okay, I was talking to real people at McKesson. I was talking to frontline salespeople in death care industry in NOV in Texas, literally around the country, and people were whispering to me at the cocktail party after one of my speeches about how they were going to vote for Trump, and like they were scared somebody was going to hit them in the head with a shovel if they got overheard. I knew the media was in the tank and has been for years, full of Democrats, and they were all lying. Now the stench is stifling. The FBI, the leadership, the political appointees at the FBI were trying their best to make this guy not win, and then after he won as president-elect, tried to undermine his election. It's treason, folks. Love him or hate him, guys. This guy has turned on the lights in the kitchen, and he has shown us where the roaches are, folks. But anyway, the other T is tax reform. This thing, we're going to see so much capital coming back in the United States. Small businesses like myself, I'm going to hire maybe I have on my – actually, we got to get moving because I am interviewing one of my final traders. We're growing, man. I'm going to use the tax money I'm getting back. I ain't going to put it under my couch, folks. I'm going to put it back into my business, man. Earnings are going to blow the doors off. You're going to be shocked at earnings in 2018, guys. This is I could not be more bullish. But we'll get to this in a little bit. The F and not fear is the Fed. This is Jerome Powell. It used to be our grandmother. And then it was Ben Bernanke. The Fed, this dude is going to raise interest rates slowly, and interest rates going up. Write this down. You're going to get some wisdoms here. When interest rates are high, stocks will die. When interest rates are low, stocks will grow. We've been in a near zero rate interest environment since Ben Bernanke was born, man, and he was the Fed chairman. Everybody remember that? Everybody remember QE, quantitative easing, us just the Fed literally printing money out of thin air on their HP printers, printing money and propping up the stock market. It was like the Pope coming out and saying hell doesn't exist to Catholics, right? So now with interest rates going up, well, interest rates are high, stocks will die. Folks, interest rates aren't going to be high. Even by this time next year, when I'm giving you another debrief and brief and saying how we crushed it in 2018, we're still going to be in a lower interest rate environment. But interest rates going up are going to be very, very bullish for our financial positions, which we're going to talk about next. If you're not bullish on the financials, folks, I loved CNBC had a Goldman Sachs piece a little while ago, and they nailed everything we said. We have long call diagonals in JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. I'm not a Goldman Sachs guy anymore. We can talk about that over a beer. JP Morgan is my number one. Morgan Stanley is my number two, and my bronze medalist in the financials is Wells Fargo. And I can't stand Wells Fargo. The old CEO should be in jail. The 5,000 employees that made up accounts, that stole information and made dummy accounts essentially to get bigger bonuses should all be in jail too. They're not. We don't lock up white collar criminals. We'll lock up some guy who steals bread to feed his family. We won't lock up white collar criminals. But guess what? I'm Gordon Gekko as a portfolio manager. I don't give a shit. Let's be bullish on Wells Fargo because it's a mom and pop bank. With mom and pop getting more of their money back. I know $2,000 a year ain't a lot of money to Democrats. Isn't it funny? Let me get a little rant going here. Barack Obama, I remember when he did something, he's like, that's an extra $40 a month into people's paychecks. He said it for like a week straight on the speaking circuit. I forget what he did where it was like $40 back a month. I'm like, but now Democrats are laughing about, oh my God, yeah, $2,000 a year is really going to do a lot to somebody making 50 grand. Yeah, they are. That's why you're a liberal elite, and that's why you lost. Let's get going. Another reason I have some good intel into in the financial sector and also what's going on in real estate. That's my underachieving sister, Kia Buckley. She's the CIO of Dune Capital up in New York. Why should we care, Wiz? Does anybody know where Steve Mnuchin used to work? I met Steve Mnuchin. I had dinner. My sister got Woman of the Year for New York City a couple years ago. So I had dinner with the current Treasury Secretary, that scumbag. Oh my God, the guy from MF Global, the Senator John Corzine, and Gary Kahn, the head of the Economic Council. My sister knows all these people very, very well, and I'll leave it at that. So let's just say I have a lot of good intel with what's going on. Inside stuff. Take a look at this, man. This was a little while ago, but look at this. Last year, when I said get long, I said I'm out of Goldman Sachs, but look at Goldman Sachs. One trade, man. Mike was up. Mike, I think, was on a high of about 150 grand. One trade. I did 5 contracts. Mike, Diane, and a bunch of other folks did like 20. And again, you guys. Yeah, see right here. Mike said, hey, I did 20 contracts. Diane was up 36. Harry was up about 60 at one point. Look at these returns, folks. This was one. Look at this. So Diane was up 36 grand. This was like a month or 2 months after one trade, and she did 5 contracts. So, folks, and these are real member gains, folks. At one point, I was up 5 grand on my little on mine. But this was oops, sorry about that. There you go. We'll move past that. I'm not a big testimonial guy. Europe is the E in not fear. We got a potential Brexit coming up. It's going to be a soft Brexit. Mario Draghi's got his own quantitative easing. We'll talk about Europe. Earnings. This is what I wanted to get into, folks. Earnings are going to be phenomenal. The average that I've seen is 8 to 10% earnings per share increase in every company's bottom line. I'm going to say that again because I'm not a big EPS and old Dow theory guy, but listen to me. The average company in the S&P 500 is going to see an 8 to 10% increase in their earnings per share. Does everybody understand that? What's that translate to? Meaning magic money has appeared at their bottom line. It isn't magic, folks. First of all, it's not the government's, it's theirs. You know, that the government is a referee of money, folks. It doesn't have anything, and it shouldn't have anything. All it is a referee. It says, I'm going to take from you and give over to you. So check this out, man. Every company is going to see. That's exactly right, Andrew. That's the layman's way to say it. Andrew's a member who's like, that's an 8 to 10 increase in the share price. How can you not be bullish into 2018? So we'll talk about that again in a couple minutes. The A and not fear is Asia. My God, folks, we have a nuclear country that's shooting bottle rockets over another country, Japan. We have China, who's a massive economic superpower. Asia is on our radar. We'll talk about that. And then let me end not fear, because we have to get into the guts here. All right, I'm only 5 minutes over. That's good. Russia. That's the R in not fear. What happened this week that should really stoke your attention with Russia? Barack Hussein Obama, I like saying his full name, did nothing when Ukraine, a huge free country that wanted to be a part of NATO, that wants to be part of the West. Let us into your club. We want to be free. No. They get invaded by Russia. Not only Crimea, but the eastern part of the country, for Christ's sake. What did Obama and Merkel? Stop. Well, we'll say stop again. Well, now we're going to invade a little bit more. Stop, or we'll really say stop. We just shot down an airliner with 300 people on board, men, women, and children. Oops. Oh, that's horrific. Stop. You know what Barack Hussein Obama did? He sent blankets and meals ready to eat, MREs, to Ukraine. You know what Trump did this week? He's sending Javelin anti-tank missiles. He is Army. I'm not a big John McCain fan, but when this was going on, John McCain is like, this is a national disaster and tragedy for this country, for our country and Ukraine. We're doing nothing to help a country that wants to run as fast as they can away from Russia. We're doing nothing. And Obama sent those blankets and meals ready to eat. Didn't send them on Air Force C-17s or C-5s. He sent them on contracted airplanes with no markings because he didn't want to offend this guy more. How can you offend him anymore? He already invaded the country. Here's my Gordon Gekko speech on Russia, folks. And I jokingly say I wear two suits at Top Gun Options. I wear a flight suit, and I'll tell you how I feel as an American, as a dude who buried 11 of the finest men and one woman this country's ever known. And then I'll tell you how I feel like Gordon Gekko. Gordon Gekko on Russia, you got to be bullish on this dude. You have to be bullish on a guy in a country that does whatever the hell they want. Wearing my flight suit, I think it's atrocious. I think he's disgusting. He ain't no communist, man. He's a Soviet, and he wants the Soviet Union to rise again. We have got to keep Russia on our radar, but I am bullish on Russia, folks. Write that symbol down, RSX, Romeo Sierra X-ray. You got to be bullish on a dude like this. Again, in my flight suit, I'll tell you, I'd love to put a bullet in this guy's head. As Gordon Gekko, I don't give a shit. If he's going to make me money, we're going to do it. All right. What am I missing from my 2018 kind of what's big on our radar? What am I missing? You guys tell me. What do you think I'm missing in my not fear right there? Mainly because the letter really didn't fit. Let's see what some of the answers are. That was a hedge fund trade. No, Brad, I kind of covered oil in the Middle East. Ron, I said Asia, so that's China. Karen, Iran, I briefed that. Infrastructure spending, that's good, Cliff. You know what's funny is, no, Sandeep, N was North Korea. It's Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Christine got it before, as I was saying it, Christine wrote it down. Good job, Christine. Everything everybody else said, it was either covered or we're going to talk about. The infrastructure spending, my God, you can't be any more bullish on infrastructure spending. This cryptocurrency stuff, folks, I could not agree more, guys, whoever just said that. When I'm out at dinner on Las Olas the other night, and the waitress, oh, you run a portfolio. How do I get into Bitcoin? And do they mail it to you? How do you pick it up? Folks, Kevin, I agree. And Morgan Stanley had a great note last week. It's worth zero. Nobody, I get it, folks. You can send me an article. Somebody sent me an article. There's a Bitcoin ATM in New York, and some hostel in Germany accepts Bitcoin for so you can stay there that night. That ain't a currency, folks. If you can't use it, and it's not even regulated. Did everybody see why one of the reasons Bitcoin crashed last week was not only North Korea can hack into it and steal all of them, which will happen, folks. You do realize that, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, Sony Pictures was hacked by North Korea because they made a movie making fun of the dear leader. They hacked into Sony, folks. North Korea hacked into Bitcoin last week. And not only did Bitcoin get hacked, there was insider trading. The employees of one of the currency, whatever the hell this thing is, are all front running and manipulating the stuff. But it's not. It's funny because even CNBC and a lot of guys I know are laughing. They're like, how can you insider trade on something that's not regulated? There isn't insider trading. People can do whatever they want. So, folks, I'm not going to talk about this. If I can make triple-digit returns playing or trading options, why would you even look at this? I've talked about it too long, and I'm going to hit myself for that. But let me finish with this. Here's the amount of money you should invest in Bitcoin. The amount of money that you wouldn't mind putting right in a pile on this island right here, lighting it on fire and drinking champagne. If you have that amount of money, that's the amount of money you should invest in Bitcoin. Everybody got it? That's the amount of money, okay? That's it. Here we go with our sector targeting. Write this down, and I'm going to now we're getting into the meat here, folks. So if you've been clubbing in the Bahamas for the past 45 minutes, come back. Here we go, or 41 minutes. These are the sectors that we're going to be targeting, and I'm going to talk about here. Financials, write that down. Energy, and I'm going to give you the symbols in these. Defense, tech, transports, and emerging markets. We're going to talk Captain Kirk and what that term means. So write these down, or take a little screenshot with that camera, okay? You need to have a trade in every one of these, not only out to January of 2020, using a tactic I'm going to teach you when you become a member called a long call diagonal or synthetic stock, but you should also be trading the front months in these names. And I'll talk about the transports briefly, and CSX, a trade that we took advantage of when a dude died the other day. Okay, let's press forward. I'm not going to talk through our trade plan at all because we have a lot of other stuff to potentially cover. Give me 1 second here because I want to open. Let me open a new window here, and there we go. All right, so here we go, folks. This is going to be furious. Usually this takes a half an hour. It's going to take about 15 minutes because I want to stay on time. I'm going to give you your SO brief, strategic and operational brief. So for my members who, this is usually our accelerated retirement brief, just hang on because you guys know this is usually a little bit longer, but here we go. Strategic brief, guys. Pretend you're an admiral or a general, and here comes Lieutenant Buckley to brief you. U.S. spy satellites catch Chinese ships illegally selling oil to North Korea. So the other day, Nikki Haley, she's going to be a great president. Our current UN ambassador, she will be the first female president. I think her and Ivanka should run together. That would be phenomenal. Well, the Chinese who have, Trump's patting himself on the back. We've gotten the Chinese to, agree to more sanctions on North Korea, and this is great. Trump's getting duped, or he's, there's a Godfather marathon on yesterday. It is they're not sitting on their little retarded nephew. They're just not. They can, if they want to really, really, really sit on North Korea, they can. They're not doing it. Here's why I'm bringing this up, folks. In a couple of our portfolios is this. Dan, she does, man. She is phenomenal. So we have a FXI. Write this down. So FXI is the iShares China Large Cap ETF. Take a look at the run the FXI has had year to date. That has been a hell yeah. This has been with Trump saying, I'm going to rain fire and fury down. This is why the FXI's rallied. He really hasn't threatened China at all. I made a mistake in this trade. I bailed out halfway through this and said, what? I'm getting worried about FXI because I think Trump, before we fire a real shot at North Korea, is going to fire a couple shots at China. He didn't. He actually flew over there and had kind of a love affair. He went Nixon. He had a Nixon moment, or a George Bush and Putin moment. I could see in his eyes and see to his soul. Um, so, so China, we got to keep an eye on North Korea, folks. Now, here's where I'm going to scare the hell out of you. You ready for this? One of the recent North Korean soldiers that defected, he has been vaccinated against anthrax. Let me give you a holy shit moment, and you haven't seen this in the liberal media, have you? So, how many of you on this webinar can raise your hand and say you've been vaccinated against anthrax? Me. Before I was ordered to do it. It is a holy shit, Karen. Yeah, see, Steve's like, I didn't see this headline. Yeah, folks, and it's funny because a lot of my members go, Wiz, I get my news from you every day. I don't even watch the news. I will give you what's important, folks. Don't worry about nuclear weapons, folks. You need to be worried about him infecting 8 deer leader wannabes with anthrax, putting them on airplanes out of Indonesia, and landing in Chicago, Dallas, Miami, New York, San Fran, Seattle, San Diego, and walking around for a week, and 50 million Americans will be dead. Can you believe this, folks? Brian, there's a couple companies. Remember, this was, the whole weapons of mass destruction with Saddam. Kim has a stockpile of up to 5,000 tons of chemical weapons, including anthrax. So when I was out at the San Francisco air show, man, when we were driving out to near Alcatraz, we were going to watch the Blue Angels perform. I pointed to all these container ships. I said, folks, don't worry about a nuclear missile from North Korea. All he's got to do is put a bunch of anthrax, smallpox, folks. All it takes is like a little chemistry set to re-engineer the smallpox, and 50 million Americans are dead. It is, Karen. This is really, really bad. If this guy wants to really kill as many, and this guy knows it would be the end of him and all of his people if he did something like this. Who should we be worried about? The dude that tried to blow himself up in the subway in New York a couple weeks ago, the guy that plowed into 8 people and killed them in Times Square. You got to be worried about the radical Islamic folks weaponizing this stuff. Now, again, I'm here to scare the hell out of you, so when it doesn't happen, we're pleasantly surprised. This can happen, folks, and I don't want to be the guy that when this happens, jumping on a webinar going, I told you so. Look, the market's down 5,000 points and the VIX is at 90. Yay! That's not going to be me. I'm going to be just as miserable. But we have to hedge and prepare for things like this, these potential events. Russia. Look at this, folks. Russia establishes 2 permanent bases in Syria to host nuclear warships and warplanes. Our buddy Putin really helping out the Syrians. Look at this. And the L-39 Albatross, folks. I fly an L-39 down here in South Florida. An L-39 is it's an attack jet, but it's also here. Let me I'll show you. Where's my public relations folder? Where is it? Is it in here? Oh no, hold on one second. So here's an L-39. Let me. It's my buddy's. He's a rich back doctor down here in South Florida. So that's an L-39 right there, folks. And you can see how many kills I have in this one. I have 4 Cessnas and a TIE fighter. And yes, he's a Jewish doctor. But that's an L-39, folks. I fly an L-39. And yesterday, what happened in Syria? Rebels shot down one, and you can see the dude gets killed. You can see this. You can press play, watch this L-39 get shot down. It's chilling. Why am I showing you this? This is going on, folks. Yesterday, I was hanging out with my kids, and they're still running around the house and playing with all the Christmas stuff. This is going on. Just because you are enjoying Christmas doesn't mean this stuff isn't going on, folks, okay? So worldwide, we have Iran and Saudi potentially going at each other's throats. We have North Korea. We have China essentially at the UN going, yay, boo North Korea, and then still giving them a bunch of oil. And we have the Syria stuff going on. Not good. And remember, folks, just because the mainstream media isn't talking about this doesn't mean it's not happening, okay? Now let's shift strategically over to emerging markets. EWZ. Let me get so this time last week, folks, look at this. So we did on December 20th last week, during this time period, we did a bull put spread, 38, 37.5 bull put spread, 150 contracts for 16 cents, risking 50. Look at that. There I am again. I don't want to risk more than about $5,000, 5% of the model portfolio on any one trade. And this is out to the regular January expiration and potentially making $2,400. What happened to the EWZ since we talked last week, folks? Where's my members? You bet, man. I will take that. Hell yeah. Let me close this one or move this out of the way. Where's the, right there. We put this trade on last week. That trade's up what? Somebody let me know what you guys are up in that trade. Brian's up 50% in that trade in a week, $1,100. It's 7 cents now. Okay, let's do the quick math. 16 cents minus 7 cents equals what? Times 150 contracts. How many folks, and again, to my potential new members, men lie, numbers don't. I just showed you the trade we placed last week. It's up $1,400 in a week. So $1,400 in 1 week. And then here's the trade we sent out yesterday. December 26th. Like I said, the kids are running around the house, driving me crazy. I put on a bear call spread on Tesla, the 330, 332.5. Risking 5,100, 5,200 to make 2,300. Anybody know what Tesla did in a day? Let me get a hell yeah if you like this. Look at that. Let me show you the 3-day chart. I put this trade on yesterday. Look at that bear call spread. So we are up $2,000, $2,000 in a week on 2 trades, guys. There hasn't been any losing trades in the past week. It's been phenomenal. So remember that number, $2,000 in a week. And Tamara, you're right. We're going to pound this guy into the dirt. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had a losing trade where was it? Right here on Tesla. We had a bear call spread here, bear call spread here, bear call spread. Crap. This was a short squeeze. Losing trade right there. Winner, winner, loser, massive winner right now. And I put another bear call spread on today right now, guys. Yeah, exactly, Brian. The orders are coming in for those cartoon trucks. It's fulfilling the orders. Okay. Sandeep, just go to the member page and look what the trade was on EWZ. I just showed you. It's right here, 20 December. It's right here. It's a bull put spread, the 38, 37.5. Okay. All right, guys, we got to move. So why am I bringing that up? Because emerging markets. We love Brazil. I love Brazil, love the people. Can the emerging markets rally continue? Here's what to look for. The answer is yes. We love Brazil. Love the people, love just everything. I love the politics. Here's us. Here's our Brazil story. What happened right here, folks? I'm shocked to know that the president might be dirty. The EWZ imploded. The EWZ is the iShares Brazil ETF. Okay, so I will, in full disclosure, I have to brief you that I know the dudes involved in this scandal. For the past year and a half to 2 years, I've flown around the United States and Canada giving speeches for JBS. Anybody know what JBS is? Let's just Google that real quick, because this is a disclosure moment. I know everybody in this scandal. JBS scandal. How about that? So the Batista brothers, Wesley Batista. I thought I was this guy right here and his brother right there. These are good. I thought they were good people. Man, I flew to London too. I took my son to London. I spoke at Wembley Stadium for JBS. The Batista brothers are on tape bribing the president. Right here, guys. So let me zoom. Well, right about here, after the scandal broke and the EWZ imploded, not right here, guys. Only a dude at a cocktail party would say he got in that trade right there. Right there is when I got us into a Jan 20 trade. And then we've been trading the front months ever since. People, where's Kevin? Are you in here? Kevin, I know you're a big EWZ guy. You said you were up 300, 400% in a year in your Brazil positions. So, folks, I'm going to teach you when you become a member that we're going to put on January 20 positions. Look at the options chain here. We can hop in our Magic F18. So this is an options chain. If you're new to options, folks, don't worry. You're going to get 8 training sessions on everything from this is a call, this is a put, all the way up to session 8 trading iron condor. So don't freak out if you don't even know what an options chain is. We're going to teach you that. But let me just tell you briefly. See, an option is a contract, man. We deal in contracts all the time, right? At house contracts, apartment contracts, cars. We can do a contract all the way out to January of 2020. We can be long-term bullish on the EWZ 2 years out. So not only can we be long-term bullish on the EWZ, because I think it's an oil story, there's a lot of reasons to be bullish on Brazil, but not only do we trade that Jan 20 trade and just keep it in our filing cabinet as it's making money as the EWZ goes up, we trade what is called the front months. We're sitting in the front month. I just showed you the front month trade we put on a week ago that's up $1,400 in a week. It's right here. In 1 week, this trades up, and it's got another potential $800 to go. And I'd close this out, folks. If you're looking at about a 60 or 70% gain in the EWZ, but it does have a little bit of wind beneath its wings right now. It's got a little bit of a Bette Midler going on here. And we'll talk, tomorrow in our Analyze Your Trade brief, folks. We'll talk about maybe legging into an iron condor here, but we got to move. So emerging markets, very, very bullish on emerging markets, specifically Brazil. U.S. economy, now let's get operational. So I gave you a strategic brief. Middle East, Asia creeping us out, talked about emerging markets. The U.S. economy. I love the Wall Street Journal, folks. Read it every day, read it twice a day, read it 3 times a day. The U.S. economy can't keep surprising stock investors. If you got my sit rep today, you laughed with me. This ain't a surprise. So Jim Paulson, you guys, everybody probably knows who Jim Paulson is. He's one of the guys that got the housing crisis right. Even if the recovery remains healthy in 2018, it can't continue to surprise. You ready for this? And I'm going to pat myself on the back, even though my neck hurts. It's surprising who? It's surprising the idiots that said Hillary was going to win, and if Trump wins, the market's going to implode. It's surprising people who didn't use their brain and talk to average Americans. This ain't a surprise to me or any of us at Top Gun Options. I actually call this the Hope and Change rally with a little poke at Barack Obama. The market was rising on hope that Trump could get tax reform, infrastructure spending, total Obamacare fiasco. Don't even get me started. The Republicans are idiots. They can vote 63 times to repeal Obamacare under Obama. They can't vote once to repeal it under a Democrat. So don't get me started. I ain't no Republican, folks. I'm a libertarian, to be honest with you. But now, so here's the hope rally. This is the S&P 500. Now it's time now let me just draw over here in this, or use my spotlight. The change is going to be, whoever said earlier, Wiz, you didn't cover infrastructure. Let me lay it on you. Not one Democratic senator voted to give 80% of you some of your money back. Remember that. So that was not a bipartisan effort, tax reform. Infrastructure spending has to be bipartisan. Well, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi can steal defeat from the jaws of victory, folks. But check this out. Infrastructure spending, I could not be more bullish on the market and companies. You ready? Even Nancy and Chuck, guess who makes or transports steel or makes cement? Moose and Rocco. Moose and Rocco are in the unions. Moose and Rocco are blue collar folks. Who's going to be building bridges, roads, all this infrastructure the president wants? If Chuck and what's her name don't agree to this, they're nuts. And I know, of course, they can be nuts, but folks, so when I look at this chart of the S&P 500 for 2018, it's doing this. Period. Now, let me say what's down here. How does it do this? I just told you, man. Short of a shooting war with North Korea or in the Middle East, this is going higher. Like Andrew and I said, 8 to 10% earnings per share average increase. So to Jim Paulson, God bless you, dude, for getting the housing crisis right. The reason you're surprised at this is because you were completely in the tank for Hillary. This is the tax reform isn't priced in and infrastructure spending isn't priced in, folks. And I'm Eeyore, man. I'm Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Beautiful day out. Well, it might rain. You won the lottery, Wiz. I got to pay taxes. That's me. I'm constantly an Eeyore, but it's made me a very successful trader. So for me not to be an Eeyore, that means you should get bearish. No, I'm kidding. couldn't be more bullish on this. I'm going to give you a free trade right now. Everybody write this down. My members already did this. I want you to pull out your smartphone. This isn't a joke. This is a free trade for a year from now. Pull out your smartphone, your calendar, and pull up November 1st of 2018. And you ready for this free trade? X, and write down. Literally, it's in here. XRT. Look at that. XRT, November 1st. Look at what the XRT has done. The XRT is the retail ETF. Sorry about that. If you've never heard of the XRT, you probably have because it's been all over the TV. The retail is up. The XRT is up 10% in a month. This was another layup trade. And Amazon. You're right, Brian. We'll talk about that. But look at the XRT, folks. Every Christmas, and I say Christmas, every Christmas, or if you're celebrating Kwanzaa today, congrats. Every Christmas, even if it was under Obama where people were like, oh, this Christmas is going to be miserable, nobody's spending, it's awful. Even those Christmases were what? In January, and a couple of weeks from now, people came out and said, oh my God, that was the best Christmas ever. This is a free trade, folks. Put a bull put spread or a double vertical, I'll teach you what that trade is, on the XRT next November 1st. Unless we're in the middle of a nuclear war and then nobody's going to care about the markets anyway. This is a free trade, folks. Retail feels shoppers Christmas cheer. Look at this. MasterCard, U.S. department store stocks jump on holiday spending record. MasterCard came out today and said, this is the best year in our history. Online sales rose 18%. MasterCard came out today and said, we've never seen anything like it. So there's your free trade for a year from now, and we'll be debriefing that. Now, I missed this one. I was in the middle of all of our other great trades. I literally did not have it in my calendar. I do now. XRT, and you can also throw on who? Like Brian just said. Whoops. In Amazon. Look at, there's the beginning. Now it's kind of leveled off, and we have our Amazon bull put spreads working. We have a great Amazon bull put spread, the 1150, 1140, right? That expires in a couple weeks. Look at that, 1150, 1140. That's why we put it on. It was resistance. Now it's become support. You can put Amazon down on that too. All right, I got to move. Apple. We had a lot of Jan 18-ish trades that we should be taking off right now. I like the FANGs, folks. Facebook, Amazon, Apple. I'm not a Netflix or Google guy, but let's bring up Apple here. Apple got pounded with this news that there's lukewarm iPhone sales. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know this, Apple is a serial under-promise and over-deliverer. They sandbag all the time. How many times does Apple come out and say, our quarter is going to suck, and they blow the doors off of it? It's a known Wall Street game. So all this stuff, the death of Apple has been greatly exaggerated. Maybe we'll cover an Apple trade before I leave here, because this is, take a look at where Apple pulled back down to. Right here. And in my alert the other day, I said, hey, with Apple, this 170 line, the reason Apple gapped down right here is because this is a deciding moment for Apple. Okay. Apple's either going to implode and it'll just be on momentum and people just taking profits, or it's going to hold here and go higher. So maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, Apple, and the battery thing too. That was an issue for Apple. I want to get moving here so we can get into. Remember SOT, strategic, operational, tactical. I'm taking a little bit longer than I used to, but I also had to intro myself at the beginning, so we're looking good. Consumer confidence came out today, folks. That's why this dude over here who's like, hey, the market just can't keep doing great things. Well, guess what, man? Consumer confidence today came out. 13-month lows. So let's take I brief you every Monday on the events for the week. Let's take a look at Wednesday. There it is right there. Let me grab my little dancing ball. Consumer, so we were looking for a 128.2 and we got a 122.1. What is consumer confidence, Wiz? Well, on this site, this is a great site here, folks, Forex Factory. Let me share this with you. This is a great site and the calendar, so you can see what's going on, and it explains all the economic reports as well. So let me share that with you. I'll show you, folks, when you become a member, I'm going to show you all my intel sources, where I gather my info, and everything. I'll give you the keys to the city here. But look at consumer. Let me scroll down. It's a survey of about 5,000 households, which asks them, how you doing, right, from Jersey. How's your current and future economic conditions? How's your labor availability, business? How's your overall economic situation? So this this ain't good. So this guy who's like, hey, the market can't keep surprising, that's a surprise. Now remember, ladies and gentlemen, consumer confidence, a lot of these economic reports are what? They're rearward facing. It's in the past. They surveyed those 5,000 people a month ago. Now with tax reform getting passed, so around the February timeframe when people start seeing more money in their W-2s, it hasn't hit yet, folks. Him standing in the Rose Garden with all the Republicans and patting themselves on the back, that nobody's felt that yet. When people start feeling it, I'm a W-2 in my own company. I can't wait. I know what I get in my paycheck every other week, and when it goes up, people are going to feel better and they're going to spend it. They are not going to put it in their couch. And with MasterCard saying this has been one of the best Christmases ever, guess what, man? They're in debt, so they're going to have to spend it. This is phenomenal. Couldn't be more bullish on this. So my strategic mindset, and everybody look over here on the right. If you're not a member, in the handout section down here, I uploaded my trade plan because I knew I was going to run out of time and not have the ability to hook you up with going through my full 7-step trade plan. You'll do that when you become a member and we put you through our training program. I go through each step. Why do I say that? Because I'm going to give you my strategic mindset right now, and we're going to place a trade. My mindset is cautiously bullish. All right, Wiz, that sounds like a politician. You're bullish, but you're cautious? Yeah, that ain't no politician. The cautious is what? In a breaking news story, we could Trump labels China a currency manipulator, or dude, anthrax attack, or a Syrian warplane drops chemical. I mean, cautiously means I am hedged. I got one hand on the ejection handle. Unfortunately, this dude in this L-39 that got shot down yesterday did not have his hand on the ejection handle, or you can see the missile hit, guys. I don't think he saw it coming. I don't care who you are. I mean, obviously, a pilot getting killed ain't anybody getting killed is not a good thing. But I'm cautiously bullish, folks, which means I'm going to be hedged for the rest. Exactly, Brian. Technically, with our spreads, we are always hedged, right? With a spread, which I'm going to do right now, we're always hedged. So even if the worst thing happens, if the market goes to zero, we have known losses. That's the best part about being an options trader, right? If you're a stock trader, you only make money 3 ways: the buy, hope, and pray. You buy it, you hope it goes up, and if it doesn't, you pray. Not as an options trader. Let me finish with my quick sector brief, and then we're going to place an actionable trade in our accelerated retirement portfolio. Here is and I think this is, it is public. I made this public. So folks, here's your Christmas gift, a little late from Uncle Wiz. This link in the chat box, oops, I need to press send. 1 second, guys. Here you go. I want you to come in here and look at these sectors. Here's our sector brief, and there's one missing because I added one last week, and I'll brief you on that. You ready? Tech. I said I like the FANGs, but I'm more of an Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. And you ready for this, members? Don't fall out of your chair. I'm getting ready to pull Facebook and put it back to kind of a hold. I know we have Jan 2019 and Jan 20 positions on. Everybody just chill. I wouldn't be adding to Facebook right now. It's got too many political warts and some potential bads. We'll brief. I'm more of an Apple and an Amazon, and we're going to take a look at an Amazon trade here in a little bit. Fish, agree 100% exactly. There's too many. Facebook's got a lot of warts right now. I get it. They still haven't monetized Instagram. Some of you might have gotten into the webinar today based on me being in. Hold on 1 second. Okay. We'll take a look at Amazon in a couple minutes here. 1 second. Okay. Kevin just got into synthetic stock 2020 still. Yeah. So Apple, guys, we like Apple and we like Amazon, but let me cruise here, members, because I need to get on a trade. If you don't like the single stock risk, what do I mean? Folks, literally you could wake up tomorrow and Apple, again, the batteries are blowing up in airplanes and Apple's awful. Apple can go to zero. If you want to diversify your risk, and I'm going to teach you how to do this, use the XLK. The XLK is a good proxy for all the tech trades because it's the tech sector ETF. So instead of trading just Apple or Facebook or Amazon, why don't you trade a basket of tech stocks? Look at the XLK in a year. Here's the other reason you want to trade the XLK. It's 64 bucks. What's Apple? Apple ain't cheap, man. It's 170. So I'm going to give you a substitute with each one of these sectors. If you don't want to trade that single stock, you can trade the sector. Okay. Harry, not happy with Facebook. I shut them off my phone. No eavesdropping. There's a lot of potential warts there. All right, financials. I like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and then I'll edit this post, guys. I'll say Wells Fargo is the third one. The financials are going to crush in 2018. If you don't want single stock risks, again, take a look at the XLF. XLF a little choppy in what's that? That's a 1 year chart, and then obviously taken off of late. This little consolidation, folks, we are getting ready for the next leg. Interest rates going up, infrastructure spending. Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan getting 8 to 10% to their bottom line just based on. Look at what happened the day Trump signed or did the tax thing. AT&T, a bunch of companies immediately gave out bonuses to their employees. They're like, look, it's free cash. They gave it back to their employees, which kind of defeats the Democrats' narrative of it only was to the rich. And again, AT&T giving $1,000 bonus to their employees, that might not be a lot of money to a liberal elite, in New York City. It is to those people. Or the Qs, Ron, you're absolutely right. You could trade the Qs. That's a good proxy as well. I'm more of an XL or, an X guy. Defense. You have got, folks, I'll show you the defense sector under Obama. Trump signed a $700 billion defense bill the other day. We love Raytheon. So I like Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and General Dynamics. Look at our Raytheon trades. Let me get a hell yeah out of my members. We have been printing money in Raytheon. Look at Raytheon. Raytheon, folks. So here was earnings. Not the best earnings in the world. We got into a Jan 20 trade right here. Look at Raytheon. Whew. We put a bull put spread on here. We put a bull put spread on here. You know what? I should have, in addition to our ExxonMobil wins, Raytheon is up. We've made 3 or 4 Raytheon trades in December, all up about 10 grand. Steve, I'm not a Boeing. Let me tell you why here's why you need to do Raytheon. First of all, let's take a look at under Obama. Take a look at a 2-year chart of Raytheon, folks. This is 2 years. Look at that. Let me get a hell yeah if you would have loved to have had Raytheon there and then up here. Remember under Obama, folks, we had this really ridiculous word called what? And we still do, and we have to get rid of it. Sequestration. The defense, Trump is taking the handcuffs off, folks. If you think defense stocks went up under Obama, it's going to be it's huge. Nobody does defense better than me. Believe me, it's going to be huge. So I know, Brian, you work in that industry, man. So, folks, here's why I'm not in Boeing, General Dynamics, or Lockheed. I flew. You can't see it. My F-18 model in the background there. Raytheon is in all of those stocks. So whoever asked about Boeing, guess what's in that glass cockpit? It's all Raytheon. So Boeing can ebb and flow with what? Defense orders, and we canceled all these 777s or the 787s having problems. There's single stock risk with even a General Dynamics. Hey, they build submarines and aircraft carriers. Well, we just canceled that one. Crap. So, but Raytheon is in all of them. So you want to be in the defense stock that is in all the other defense stocks. Does that make sense? That's what you want to be in, is Raytheon. Okay, we've been doing bull put spreads. We put a Jan 20 trade on right here. That's been printing money. It's up about 20 or 30%. And then all of these bull put spreads have been phenomenal. Okay. The Democrats will not support the Sandeep, as you said, infrastructure spending has to be bipartisan. And since Sandeep, I didn't say it has to be bipartisan. Well, I did, but then I said the Democrats will most likely still not support it. Sandeep, I get how some Democratic senators couldn't, support tax reform. Even Steve, what's his name from West Virginia, Manchin, Joe Manchin. he struggled to explain the other day why he voted against it. He actually he got around to the point in this interview. I felt so bad for the guy. It's because Chuck Schumer would have had him killed. He's like, he was squirming, and more or less he got to it at the end. He said, you know what, there's a lot of good in that bill. I'll give you that. Why didn't you support it, dude? So the Democrats should support all of this. So Sandeep, what if infrastructure spending does not pass due to Democrats not supporting it? Sandeep, that's physically impossible. Not one Democrat supported tax reform. It's the Republicans own the White House for now, the Senate, and the Congress. The Republicans can pass whatever they want. Like Nancy Pelosi said the other day, they can avoid a government shutdown because they own the House, the Senate, and the White House. So, Sandeep, the Republicans alone can pass infrastructure spending. All right, we got to move, guys. I need to get a trade on here. Energy, ExxonMobil, guys, or use the XLE. If you don't like, I like ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips. Let me get a hell yeah out of my members if you've made about 10 grand. Look at this. So, again, almost like a Raytheon. ExxonMobil imploded. We got into a Jan 20 right here. And then we've had 2 bull put spreads on. And then I put a bear call spread on. ExxonMobil for us has made over $10,000, which has been ridiculous. So ExxonMobil, let me show you ExxonMobil. I put on a Jan 19 way back here. And of course it imploded. But you know what I did? This is what's cool about how I'm going to teach you to trade, folks. ExxonMobil then, after it imploded a little bit, got into a trading range. You see this? I lost. I didn't lose. It ain't a gain or loss until you take it. So Jan 19 trade was down $7,000. You ready for this? So my Jan 19 trade, my long call diagonal was down $7,000 right here. And then it got into this channel. You know what Wiz did and I did for my members? We traded iron condors for about 3 or 4 months. I turned a $7,000 trade into turned it around, a $4,000 winner before we bailed out of it when it imploded here. Now it came back to life and is doing what? It's back in this range. ExxonMobil is, and guys, ExxonMobil, the last time energy tried to implode and kill us all, ExxonMobil trimmed its sales for $35 oil. $35 oil. Where are we? Like 60, or I forget what Brent's at today. So even if oil implodes, as long as it stays above 35, they have trimmed their sales perfectly to make money, folks. So ExxonMobil is my play in the energy, and we'll show you how to do that. And folks, when you become a member, you get access to all these. And then I talked about emerging markets. The last sector that's not on here because I haven't updated this page yet is transportation. Holy crap, folks, the railroads, the FedExes of the world. With the infrastructure spending bill, these guys are going to print money as well. So why did I get into CSX? Well, I've been taking a look at the transports. Here's why I got into CSX. Their skipper died last weekend out of the blue. Well, a lot of people don't know they're going to die. Nobody knows the date and time, right? CEO dies, they don't have a replacement. So this, of course, the stock's going to gap down. Holy crap. But they're in the middle of a turnaround plan. And CSX is it's a railroad, folks. All this infrastructure spending, that concrete, that steel, all this stuff, the railroads. So we got into CSX, and we also put on a bull put spread right here as well. So here's what's cool, folks. You know what? I don't know. What is I don't know it offhand. Because I haven't been in transports for years, guys. I don't know what the transport ETF is. Just Google it real quick. I don't even know. But we like CSX in the transport sector because we got a nice pullback here because their skipper dropped dead, and they're going to couldn't be more bullish. The IYT. Okay. But no, guys, I want to at least get a trade on in one of our sectors because that's what I promised, and we're in our accelerated retirement brief. So that was a good intro about what we do here at TGO. Now let's get tactical. Remember SOT, strategic, operational, tactical. SOT. All right. Here's what I want to do. Let's take let's go back to that Amazon because I haven't talked about them. Amazon is doing what Amazon does every year. Print this chart, pull it out this time next year. We'll have done the same thing. Here's what it does. Here is the, holy crap, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all this stuff. And then now it kind of hovers in December, waiting for what? Not only waiting, I get it, waiting for earnings, but waiting for what? All these ones are earnings. February 1st, that's what I thought. It hovers waiting for what? waiting for it to come out and tell us how it obliterated this Christmas. 2.5 weeks ago, FedEx and UPS came out and said, if you don't buy by this date, they ain't getting it by Christmas. It was 5 days ahead of when they usually say it. Remember, like a couple days, like maybe 3 or 4 days each year before Christmas, they warn us like, hey man, if it ain't today, you're not getting it by Christmas. They did it a full week ahead of when they historically do. Rob, the XTN, thank you. And Dan, it is going to be huge. Amazon is going to come out with their, and it's usually next week or like the middle of January, they come out with their, here's how we did. It shifts around each year. I predict it's going to be, I just told you, MasterCard said this was our best Christmas in the history of MasterCard. So if you don't think that Amazon is going to explode, then you're nuts. So yeah, exactly, Phil. I was a pilot for FedEx for about 10 months before I went to American and lost my job. So I like, we currently in a different portfolio have an 1150. I like this 1150. Let's take a look at this. Let's go out to before earnings. So we don't want to, I'm not an earnings guy. So February 2nd, they will have announced earnings. Let's go out to Jan 26th. Okay. So this would be the expiration. It would be right there. It would be that 1, 2, 3, the fourth Friday. So it would be a week before earnings. Okay. Let's take a look. And I like let's take actually, we could probably maybe the 1160. Let me at least price this out. Let me price out the 1150 first. Hold on 1 second. So add option. Let me do the 11. Let me just build this real quick and check out our metrics. 1150, 1147 and a half-ish. All right. So if you did download that trade plan, we're going to go through this real quick. Let me check my metrics. Maybe. No, we're going to go up a little bit. Now, since I've been talking or rattling along here, 52 and a half. We might go up to the 60s. Let's do this. Now we have a 10 contract wide. No, let's do 15 of these. All right. I'm not trying to lose you. I'm just, since I've been squawking, the metrics and everything changed from the one I'd written down. All right, here we go. Here's my trade plan. I already gave you my step one. Step one of my trade plan is, what is your strategic mindset? Well, Wiz already told me he is cautiously bullish. I think the markets right now are entering a holding pattern, which they always do around this time, with the Santa Claus rally and, maybe some window dressing out of portfolio managers at the end of the year, getting ready for the next leg up. I don't think we see a leg down. Going into January, I think, like I said, we're going to get some Q4 earnings rolling out in January that I think are going to be epic. So there's my strategic mindset. Step two is to identify the target. Our target for today's trade is Amazon. Step three is commit criteria, or are your commit criteria. Step three is very critical, folks. It's your elevator pitch. It's, why am I going to commit capital to this trade? Well, here we go. There's the 1160 line right there. 1160 has now become support, short-term support for Amazon, the 1160 level. I think in the next 1 to 3 weeks, Amazon is going to come out with their holiday Christmas report that says, disturbing, we're taking over the world, bow in front of Amazon and Jeff Bezos. That is going to happen in the next 1 to 3 weeks. Okay, so there's my commit criteria. The tactic, remember this, folks? From earlier, I didn't call it a strategy, did I? I said the tactic. The tactic that I'm going to employ is called a bull put spread. I'm bullish on Apple. I like selling things. I like being the car dealer here in Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to do a spread. Okay. So I'm going to sell 15 of the Jan 26 1160 puts. What's that mean? That's me saying, hey, Amazon, I don't think you're going to be below 1160 by the 26th of January. Okay. By selling these puts at 1160, that means I'm bullish, right? If you understand that buying calls is bullish, then the converse of that is true. Selling puts is also bullish. If you don't understand that, don't worry. In about 7 minutes, I'm going to tell you where you can become a member and learn about selling puts and all this stuff. You ready? Wiz, you're wrong. Amazon comes out and says, holy crap, it was the worst Christmas ever. The Grinch, the Grinch took over. Well, that's going to suck, but this trade is hedged. It's a spread. I'm going to buy some downside puts at 11.55. So we are long Amazon below 11.55. If for some act of Satan, Amazon implodes, we're long these puts. So this is called, let me grab my little bouncing ball, a bull, because I'm bullish. I'm using puts, and it's a spread. Bull, put, spread. It's also called a what? A credit spread, because I'm getting paid to do this. Folks, you're going to learn when you become a member here, I like being the house. I like being the casino. The MGM Grand, and I didn't cover our MGM trades, but the Ferrari dealer down the street from me in Fort Lauderdale doesn't look like it looks because it gives money away. The hotels in Vegas don't look the way they do because they give money away. We love selling things. We love being the house. So, bull, put, spread. It's also called, a what? A credit spread, because we're bringing in that credit. Right here, mid-market's around, let's see what mid-market is. Let me just click on it. 148. All right. And I'm doing 15 contracts. So for those of you who asked why 15 contracts, I wasn't ignoring you. I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, everybody join me in a second there. Yeah, Brian, there's an existing one of these in a different portfolio. This is for all of our potential new members, and this is also for the accelerated retirement folks since we don't have an Amazon trade on. Okay, so this isn't going to be a pretty visual, but I want you to try and visualize this with me. Potential new members. You ready? I'm going to turn into a Catholic nun. I went to Catholic grade school. I went to an all-boys Catholic high school. Shoot me. Thanks, Mom and Dad. But you ready for this? When I click right here where it says snapshot analysis, I want you to look at one place and one place only. And it's going to be a sad face. It's going to be a small little red sad face. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Max potential loss. Now, if I didn't tell you to look here first when I clicked analyze, except all my members in the room, 99.9% of the new folks would have looked here and said, $2,200 in about a month? Sign me up for that, Wiz. And you'd be wrong to look at that first. Whether you're a fighter pilot, you're an options trader, a doctor, an attorney, you always look at the worst possible scenario first. What is my max potential? If I wake up one day and Amazon just imploded and I was not at the controls, what is my max potential loss? If you're not okay with potentially doing this, then don't do 15 contracts. Maybe you do 7, maybe you do 1. Maybe you're a billionaire and you do 100. I don't know. Remember here at Top Gun Options, folks, you're getting to eavesdrop. You're getting to look over my shoulder of a professional trader managing a $100,000 model portfolio. Okay? So, in accordance with my SOP, my standard operating procedure, I don't want to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. That's in the ballpark, folks. $5,300. Now, using at the money volatility in Amazon options, there's a 30% chance of that max loss. That's not insignificant, guys. It's that can happen, and it does happen, folks. That's why I'm telling you to look here first. If you're okay, well, I'm not going to use the word okay. If you understand this risk, I'm not okay with losing $5,300. That's going to suck. One of the ways we're not going to lose $5,300 is we're going to talk about potentially adjusting this trade if it goes against us. Give me a couple minutes. Now we can bring our eyes up to here, Mr. Smiley Face right there. Now we can say, all right, what can we make if this is our risk? We can potentially make $2,200 in a month with a 67% probability, folks. That ain't too shabby. If you had those odds in Vegas, Vegas wouldn't be in business anymore. And look at this. The odds of making at least something, some profit, at least breaking even, are 68%. So this is why you're going to love being an options trader. You see this blue line? That's Amazon right now. That's the current price of Amazon. So instead of being a stock trader who makes money 3 ways, buy, hope, pray, we're an options trader, and here's how we make money 3 ways. Amazon can go up. This blue line can go to the right. We start printing money. Amazon can kind of stay where it is, right? It's kind of chopping around on the chart behind this ticket right here. It's chopping around. We make money if it sits right where it is. Remember, folks, I said this is a credit spread. I'm selling something. Write this down. Unched on the day equals time decay. Meaning if this trade is unchanged, meaning it just kind of hangs out, unchanged on the day equals time decay. So we get a Greek, which I'll explain to you, a Greek called theta. That's called time decay. So guess what, man? If you pull out of this Fort Lauderdale dealership in your midlife crisis, it immediately starts losing money. Everybody knows that. You pull out of the dealership, man, you get that theta, you get that price decrease. Unched on the day equals time decay. Okay? And we can also make money if Amazon goes down a little bit. It can go down to here, to the break even. So we make money three ways in this trade. The only way we lose money is if Amazon implodes. Okay? That's more or less the only way we're going to lose money. So let me talk about two points in my trade. You see, oh, now it's $1.57. Now look at the metrics. All right, real quick, guys. This is what I do in a regular trade brief. So for all the folks who are potential new members, here's what I'm going to do. Check this out. I'm going to take a screenshot of this trade. So file, save as, and I go Amazon, AMZN 1227. Okay, so I grab a screenshot of that, and then I also will grab a screenshot of this. Why? Because I'm going to send this out to my members in an email along with this replay. And most of the portfolios have text alerts. This is the only one that doesn't, the accelerated retirement. Why? Because the trades just aren't like, hey, this thing needs to get on immediately. But let me talk real quick about adjusting and ejecting from this trade. So $1.57. Remember, folks, we sold this, right? We want all $1.57. We want all of these pennies in our pocket. If this trade starts going up, if this price starts going up, that means Amazon is going down. This trade's moving against us. So we don't want this trade to go up in value. We want this to expire at 0. If it expires at 0, that means we took that $1.57 and it is in our pocket. If for some reason Amazon starts pulling back and this trade starts going up to $1.67, $1.90, $2, it's moving against us. So I just don't want to sit here in the cockpit as I start smelling smoke and my feet are getting warm and my wingman saying, hey, Wiz, your engine might be on fire. I want a point in my trade called the adjust point. Okay, the adjust point is where I scratch my chin and go, you know what? Should I adjust this trade? Amazon's, it's a little choppy. It goes up. It might come a little bit. Should I adjust this trade? And there's 3 ways to adjust a bull put spread. And again, I'm going to train you in this. I don't want to take too much time since I'm going over. We could roll the strikes down. You know what, Wiz? I think January 26th before earnings is still a good place. Maybe it just needs a little bit more altitude. So we could maybe roll these strikes down, it's called. And again, you'll get an hour and a half of training on a bull put spread and how to manage it. I'm going to do this in 2 minutes, not an hour and a half. We could also roll the trade out. What does that mean? Well, maybe Wizit needs another week to work. I would not roll this trade out, however, because it has what? It has earnings that next week. So this is the one time I wouldn't give this trade more time to work because you'd be trading it through earnings. I think Amazon is going to print money in their earnings, but it's also throwing a dart. I don't throw darts. I don't roll dice. We don't gamble, folks. Earnings, if any of you have traded earnings where you got the earnings right, Wiz, I was right. They blew the doors off of it and the stock goes down. You know what I'm talking about. Don't trade through earnings. So in this case, I wouldn't roll it out. So the only thing I do to this trade to maybe adjust it if it's going against me is roll it down a couple strikes maybe. How would I know what to do, Wiz? Well, you're going to be here in a live trade brief or, I send out an update. We don't know if we have to know why Amazon's imploding. If Jeff Bezos, God forbid something happens to him, I need to know the reason why Amazon is imploding. So this is why this is called a live trade brief. Just like we're briefing to go flying a combat mission over Syria, I might say, ladies and gentlemen, in our flight today, when we get in the target area, one of these 4 things is going to happen. Blah, 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 blah. I can't tell you in the brief which one of those things we're going to do when we get in the target area, but I'm going to brief you on all of them. So when we get in the target area, I can say, folks, it's number 3, execute. Same thing. This is why you need to be a member here at TGO, folks. When we use these kind of briefs and military methodology, it works, as you can see from a lot of our members. We've had an epic 2017, and 2018 is going to be even better. So this trade, I would only maybe consider rolling down. I would not roll it out. Okay, so I like this bull put spread, and I would also do all or none. I want all 15 contracts. I don't want one, then seven, then 7 more on top of it. All or none. So this is a bull put spread on Amazon. Harry said he's going to double up. Yeah, guys, if you're in the other portfolio where we have one of these on, that expires the week before. The current Amazon bull put spread, I think it's in the original alert portfolio, expires on the 19th. Okay, so Harry's going to double up. You don't necessarily have to, folks. Okay, this was more or less a new trade for our potential new members. For us, for the current members, guys, this bull put spread on EWZ is the gift that keeps on giving. We put it on right there, and that one's looking good. So that one's up, I think many of you said 50% in a week. So between the EWZ and the Tesla trade, just on those two trades, we are up $2,000. Oh, look at this. Now it's up even more. How's Tesla doing? Since we started talking, guys, Tesla's going down even more. I love it. How's everybody looking on their Tesla trade? Jill, I'm going to cover that in 5 minutes over, so I am going to cover how you can become a member. Trust me, I'm not going to let you leave without you answering the question, Wiz, how do I sign up? So Jill, give me 1 second here. You bet, Fish. Awesome. Good. Rob, probably I try and get filled on this trade plus or minus probably around 15 cents. Okay, so that would be my range. Now it's down at $1.50. I'd go up to about $1.60 and down to $1.40. Outside of those, that plus or minus, I probably wouldn't try and get filled on it. Okay, so yeah, so all right, Fish has got a split, but guys, so if you're a current member, you guys are cleared off and have a great new year. I'm going to see you guys next week. For my folks who want to be a member, you're going to hang on and give me 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to tell you how to be a member here, okay? Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Yes, December 31st is my birthday. I'm a New Year's baby. I got the big ears. So December 31st is my birthday. So thanks, members. I really appreciate that. Thanks, Mark. All right, so potential new members. We got a lot of people in the room. Here you go. Here's where you need to head. Go.topgunoptions.com. I put it in the chat box. /FT-now. Full throttle. That's FT-now. Okay? And I'll give you a second to pull up that page. You bet, JP. I'll see you. Giles, your birthday's on the 30th? That's awesome, man. Happy pre-birthday to you as well. So, folks, here's what you need to do. And what did I just say? I just showed you in 1 week with a trade on Brazil and a one-day trade on Tesla, we're up over $2,000 just on 2 trades in a week. $2,000, folks. In 1 week, I just paid for an annual membership in our defensive trading track. Our defensive track, folks, you get access to just about everything we do, the full throttle training. I'm going to explain 8 sessions, 8 video sessions, folks, where you're going to learn, you're going to spend an hour on that bull put spread that I just did in 15 minutes, an hour on it. So you're going to totally get trained. So the defensive track, folks, is either what I made in a week on 2 trades, or it's $195 a month. Okay, so either $19.95 for a year or $195 for a month. The difference between the defensive and offensive track is this track has the weekly option service, offensive. It makes sense, right? Defensive means I'm a little bit more conservative, and Wiz, I'd rather do these nice accelerated retirement trades along with all the other live trade briefs. We trade live 4 days a week, folks. You get access to all of those. The offensive track is $24.95. I almost made that in a week for you, or $245 a month. And then obviously, folks, it doesn't take rocket surgery to figure out what the max afterburner. 85% of the people here at TGO do the max afterburner because you get weekly options and the accelerated retirement. Okay, does that make sense? And that's $29.95 for a year. And folks, I showed you just in ExxonMobil, we're up $10,000 in December. I completely forgot to put my Raytheon in there, folks. We're up another $10,000 in Raytheon, in our Raytheon trading. Phenomenal. Jan 20 trade right here. bull put spread, and we have a current bull put spread that's it's essentially flat, but I'm not worried about it. Okay, so let me explain some more about the full throttle stuff, folks. Let me scroll down and show you what you get. Here's the training, folks. Soon as you join, you're going to have access to all of these sessions. My trading methodology and where I gather my intel. Wiz, what the hell is a call and a put? That's session 2, folks. And then it's a building block approach. Folks, when I learned to fly the Hornet, I learned aerodynamics, weather, all that stuff, navigation. I didn't jump in the Hornet and start dogfighting. It's a building block approach. And what we do is like I told you earlier, folks, this is the military mindset. Demo, do. I'm going to demonstrate in these live trade briefs what I'm doing. Then you go do. You go do whatever you want to do, folks. And remember, I can't give investment advice. So you're getting the eavesdrop on what I'm doing. You have to talk, if you are going to trade with real capital. First of all, I strongly recommend, I'm heading over to TradeStation because just E-Trade, this thing sucks. I helped build Options House, folks. I told you that. And E-Trade bought them, and they've destroyed it. It's an embarrassment. I'm sorry, E-Trade, but it's the truth. So I'm going over to TradeStation, but they have a paper trading platform, because if you're new to options, please don't ever put any real capital at risk until you paper trade for a couple months, man. You go to the flight simulator. Like I said, I didn't go run and jump in the Hornet. I read the books, and then we jumped in the simulator. So please, TradeStation will give you $100,000 in Monopoly money. That is awesome. You got to paper trade before you ever put any real capital at risk. And when you become a member, I'll give you the name of the dude that can help you open a paper trading account. It's real easy, folks. As you're opening your paper trading account, you can be watching all these videos and learning. And then if you join today, you're going to join me tomorrow for a live trade brief at what's tomorrow's 10 or 1? I don't know. You think I'd know what the hell time it is. And Gerald, that's a great catch. If you are an active duty or retired military member, it is commission-free trading. I cannot tell you how much money is going to my bottom line after leaving E-Trade. I'm not even going to tell you how much money because I'm embarrassed. TradeStation, if you're a first responder, if you're a police officer, a fireman, or a paramedic, if you're a first responder or a veteran or active duty military, I have a bunch of my buddies who are here at Top Gun Options. My one buddy is like, dude, I will save $6 to $10 grand a year by going to TradeStation. And so, Gerald, good catch. You bet, man. So, in addition to the academic training that you're going to get watching me, I'm going to give you an hour-and-a-half lecture on iron condors. You get our manuals. These things you download. These are yours to keep. You take them and keep them. They're yours. The primary workbook, intermediate, and advanced. Again, there should be a little asterisk next to each one of these. I just took the Navy flight training and copied it. You went through primary, then you went into intermediate, and then you went to advanced. It works, folks. Navy flight training can take somebody who's never even seen an airplane before and in a short amount of time turn them into a steely-eyed killer flying off the pointy end of an aircraft carrier, okay? Primary, intermediate, advanced. And then these are the 3 tracks here, folks. And then all the tracks are kind of laid out here if you want to read about it. So again, folks, men line, numbers don't. I showed you physically our Tesla trade from this was yesterday, man. It's printing money since yesterday. I put another one on today. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Our EWZ trade, our Brazil trade from last week, the 38, 37.5 bull put spread, man. EWZ. In 1 week, I paid for look at this. We put it on right here. And I can give you my secret intel as to why that trade's doing so well. But look at this. In 1 week, I paid for an annual membership in a full throttle. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Christine, you know what? That sucks. They don't allow Aussies to use their platform. I know. Interactive Brokers does. I know there's each country. I know Canadians, unless that brokerage firm has an office in Canada, that they won't open U.S. accounts or Canadian accounts or something like that. So I know each country has their own rules, but I'm heading over to TradeStation, and I can give you the contact info of the dude I'm going to be using, or that's my business development guy that's helping a lot of our TGO members move over as well. You can trade with whoever you want, folks. I think in my last customer survey, I think like 50% of my members were at Thinkorswim. So we have a lot of Thinkorswim, folks. Oh, and let me show you something that's an added benefit here. Underneath member content, we have what's called a ready room. So in a fighter squadron, the ready room is like the living room. of your squadron. You hang out there with the fellow pilots, the junior, senior pilots, but this is our interactive forum. CSX long call diagonal, bear call spread assignment, EWZ bull put spread. So this is our interactive forum, folks. So in between our briefs, you can get in here and post or ask questions of your fellow traders. A lot of folks say, hey, I'm looking at this trade. Can you guys rip it apart and let me know what you're thinking or something like right here. Bill Covey goes in here all the time and says, hey folks, can you red team this Iron Condor and Goldman Sachs or something like that? So in this interactive forum, Kevin's an active member in here. So folks, this is, I forgot to even brief this, is one of your benefits. You get access to the Ready Room, which is our interactive forum. Hey Wiz, I have a question on this trade, blah, blah, blah. I'll get in here and I'll answer and I'll interact with you. So I completely forgot to mention that we have the Ready Room. Yes, I will. Here's the link right now. It is go.topgunoptions.com/FT. That stands for full throttle -now. And let me show, and real quick, if you have any questions, concerns, by the ways, let me give you our phone number as well, or you can shoot us an email. Let me scroll down here. It's so here's our phone number, guys, if you need it. It's 754-300-1084. Okay, so one more time, 754-300-1084. And then if you need to email us for whatever reason, it's support@topgunoptions.com. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, folks, that's why, since we had a couple, 400 or 500 people in this room, I couldn't use our one where we see each other's chat. That's our go to training platform. But you would have seen a lot of hell yes and a lot of people going, hey, Wiz, that I already paid for my 2018 membership with the Tesla and Brazil trade. So $2,000 right there in a week. That's your offensive. Or folks, you can always upgrade. Some people, if you want to kick the tires for a couple months, do a monthly membership right here underneath the blue box. Click on that blue link, and you can get into a monthly membership for a couple months, and then maybe upgrade into an annual. You can. So you can always do that. You can always give us a call and say, hey, Wiz, can I upgrade it into an annual? Okay. All right, folks, I apologize. I went over by about 16 minutes here. I wanted to go an hour and a half. I went a little bit more than that, so my apologies. It is Kevin, that's on my list of things to do. I got a lot of alligators closer to the boat than the charting webinar. There's better. I might even, Kevin, maybe I'll post it in the Ready Room. I got a couple buddies who own charting services that do better free webinars than I will. So the new Amazon trade is already up 4% already. That is awesome. Harry, thanks for the heads up. Dennis, I have 2 finalists. You'll be the second one to know. So I'll give you a heads up on that. So thanks, I appreciate that, guys. Awesome, folks. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna shut us off here. I'm gonna post this replay to our member page, and I'll also give you guys access as well. So if you're a potential member and you want to see this recording again, don't worry about it. I'll post it to the member page, and I'll give you guys access to it as well. It takes about, I don't know, I went a little long today. It takes about 20 minutes. It takes as long as me to go downstairs and get a new Starbucks across the street, come back up, the video will be done, and then I'll send out the video along with the screenshots of the Amazon trade. And Harry's saying he's already up 4%. In the Amazon trade since we tried to place it there. Awesome. So maybe we're moving the markets again, Harry, like we did before. So, all right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of my members tomorrow and or Friday. We moved the primary live trade brief to Friday at 1 o'clock. Since yesterday I was just hanging out with the kids. I know a lot of you folks were doing that as well. So Friday at 1 o'clock will be our primary live trade brief. So if you're becoming a member right now, we have 2 live trade briefs the rest of the week. And there ain't no Wiz and here's how great things are at TGO. All that stuff's gone. I get it. We go right into it. I say, hey, good morning, good afternoon. We get right into our strategic and operational brief, and we start looking at our trades. Okay, so no more are you going to hear me ramble on about me and TGO and stuff like that. Okay, Sandeep, you're a member, man. You ask basic questions, my friend. Where do you see the Amazon trade? You're going to see it in about, like I just said, 20 minutes when I email it out to you. Okay, so the Amazon trade will be emailed out to you, Sandeep, in about 20 minutes after the video renders and I post it to the member page. Okay, it takes about 20 minutes, guys. I can't force GoToWebinar to render the recordings any quicker, my friend. Okay, so all right, guys. And if you don't become a member yet today, or you're just still kind of, I don't know, man, I'm still a little creeped out, at least sign up for my daily sit reps, my situation reports. I do about a 10 to 15 minute video each day. If you're still kind of a little, let me just kind of feel this out a little bit more, that's fine, folks. Go to this page, go.topgunoptions.com/sitrep, and you can get my it's your name and your email address, and you'll get my free daily video. Okay, but hopefully my phone's buzzing, which usually means people are grabbing slots, which is a phenomenal thing. So sweet, welcome aboard. So Jill, you are a new member from. There's no way you're from Cupertino. That's awesome. Cool. All right. Yep, we got a lot of people signing up. That's awesome, guys. All right, folks, I got to run. Have a great rest of your day. I'll get the replay out here shortly, and I'm going to go hit the gym after I email this out to you. So awesome 2017 here at Top Gun Options. We nailed the Trump election. We nailed the resulting market rally. 2018 is going to be even better. And even if, for God forbid, some reason we're wrong and 2018 isn't great, I don't care. As an options trader, we can potentially make money whether the market's going up, down, or sideways. Okay, so this is good stuff. This is good news. All right. So, all right, folks, welcome aboard to all of our new traders. And real quick, to all the folks who are joining up right now, watch this right here. Where is it? The getting started video. Underneath member content, there's a getting started video. The first thing you should do as soon as you grab your password to log in, watch this getting started video, please, so you can, it gives you a 20-minute brief on where to find everything, your content, and everything like that, okay? So please, watch the getting started video. Don't email support with like 90 questions, because all they're going to do is say, did you watch the getting started video? Okay? All right, guys, that's it. I got to run. Thank you. Good night. Try the veal, and I'll talk to you guys later. Welcome aboard to all of our new members. We'll see you. God bless.